Thank you for joining us on the Overcomers Overcoming podcast series, where we profile those who have overcome or those who are in the process of overcoming any life topic. We have three objectives with this podcast series. Our first objective is we want you to know that whatever you're experiencing in life, whatever you're encountering, you're not alone. We want to join you to let you know that we together can help you through whatever challenge you may have that at the time may seem too difficult to be able to overcome. Our second objective is to help you determine with a very confident resolve there are multiple solutions, multiple factors involved in any life encounter. It's a matter of thinking into and thinking through the life situation you are encountering to determine the various options, the various solutions that are available to you. Our third objective is to help you with critical thinking skills. If whatever you're experiencing is a result of a decision you made sometime in the past, such that if you had a life redo, you would make a different decision, we want to help you determine the objective facts and factors to evaluate to help you reach a more informed decision. I'm Ron Cooper, founder of the Cooper Culture. I'm with my wife and business partner, Marty. Together, we are the Cooper Culture, and the Cooper Culture is sponsoring this podcast series. Today, we feature Sara Im, who has one of the most unique stories of any podcast that we have recorded to date. She recalls a time when she was living in Cambodia and was under the captive regime of the Khmer Rouge, and she describes a period of time when she was starting college with the hope of getting a college degree in Cambodia, but was overtaken by the Khmer Rouge. She was under their influence for 4 years and left the oppressive regime after a period of time. She gives us a lot of hope for optimism to be able to think beyond the situation she is in, and she explains just how she did that. But Marty, what are some takeaways our listeners can gain from Sara?
Sara has an amazing story of being in a bad situation and so positive, always looking at the positive side of where she is. She was in a camp with just all women, and she talks about the sisterhood and how they developed a relationship and how positive they were with each other and how they helped each other. And then the 3 women that went with her when she escaped. Sara could be a public speaker to women and teach us how to develop that sisterhood that she had. It's amazing.
Let's listen together to Sara. She has a great story of hope. Sara, thank you so much for joining us. Our listeners are going to be very interested in your story, your background, but even more so interesting is how you have such a positive attitude, how you can be so optimistic about your life, the future. You have been through, you have experienced a part of life that I would venture to say very, very few, if any of our listeners have experienced, having spent a portion of your life in Cambodia under the Khmer Rouge, under captivity. Sara, thank you for joining us. Can you briefly explain to our listeners a little bit of the past, what the captivity was, what you had to overcome to get to where you are today?
Of course. First, I want to thank you for having me as the guest today. And to answer your question, I grew up in Cambodia. I was born in the countryside, lived in the village with my parents who are farmers. And my childhood life was beautiful, surrounded by nature. And the climate in Cambodia is pretty much like Florida. We have a lot of wonderful tropical vegetation, fruit, vegetable, and animals. And when I graduated from high school, I attended college. college is far away from home, about more than 300 miles away. So I left my family. While I was attending college, our country went through a very, very difficult time. That's when the Communist Khmer Rouge took over. When they start marching in with the tank, with the truck, and all the walking teenage, they use a lot of teenagers to be the soldiers. And those teenage wear black clothes and carry a big gun on their shoulder and march it in. And immediately they shut down everything in the city, shut down all the school, all the hospital, all the government office, all the marketplace. So this is a major shutdown. Nothing was open. And I was so fearful. I want to go back to my hometown, but I can't because it's too far and they shut down the transportation. I don't have a bus to get on. I don't have an airplane to fly back. So I was stuck. And the communists start to evacuate everybody from the city. They don't want anybody to live in the city anymore. So all of us get on the street on foot, just grab a few clothes and have to walk away from everything that we ever owned without knowing where to go. And they just push us to go away from the city. So I follow the crowd. And then after a long, long walk, I end up in a village. And then immediately there was a few move. They move the people to different places that they want to put people in. So I end up in a camp, the big camp. In that camp, there was 1,000 men and women. They're all single. And the situation in the camp is very harsh. They push us to work every day for very long hours, 15 to 16 hours a day in the heat. The heat in Cambodia is pretty hot. The temperature is somewhere around 100. And imagine that we had to work in that heat all day long. And we were starved. They give us very little food. And we did not have enough time to sleep because just too much work and no time to rest. 7 days a week, that's how we work. And it may not too long. We start to get sick because of the exhaustion, because of the malnutrition, lack of sleep, lack of rest. So many of us become very sick. I got sick with a few serious diseases like malaria, typhoid, and then swelling. My whole body was swelling, and I lost my sight, my eyesight at night. There is a word for it. It's called night vision. So I couldn't see anything at night. So that's how we live in that harsh labor camp. But when I become too sick to work, imagine, I was dragging myself to go to work even though I was sick. But eventually, one day, I could not go anymore. And they put the sick people like me in a different place. And that place, they said it's a hospital, but it's not really a normal hospital that you get the care, you get the medication or doctor's care. No, there is nothing like that. We just stay in that shelter waiting for time to die. At that time, I realized that I cannot stay there. this is now a safe place to stay, although they don't push us to work. But I'm going to get more disease from other people. My mind start to wander, and the only thing that I can think of at that time, I believe that there is God. I'm not really a religious people, but when my life is about to end, I thought that God exists. So I start to pray and ask God to help me to survive. My vision is to survive and go back to my family. I have a beautiful, loving family that I want to go back to. So that's my motivation. So after I prayed for a while, God gave me enough strength to walk out from that infirmary and walk back to where the working people stay. When I got back, one of the team leader that knew me before, and she took me in her group and she said, you can stay with me and I will see if I can find something for you to do. After she observed me for a while, she realized that I am too sick, and she was able to talk to the kitchen staff, and she found me a job in the kitchen. So she sent me to the kitchen, and I know God answered my prayer because this is not usual. People don't get an opportunity to work in the kitchen. People work in the rice field, harsh labor. But for me to get that job, it's a life-saving situation. So I start to work there, and I have more access to food, and I work under the shade, and I work less hours. So gradually I feel better. When I feel better, I realize I'm going to survive. I will survive. So with that vision, with that encouragement, by the way that I feel, the way that I am working in that kitchen, I start to feel better. I gain more energy, gain more weight. The disease somehow it kind of, reduce. I feel better. So eventually, for about several months, I feel much better and look much better. And when the soldier, the guard in the big camp saw me like that, they pulled me out from the kitchen and throw me back to work in the rice field again. I was not bitter, although they pulled me out from the more comfortable place, but I feel grateful that at least I have that opportunity to work there to recover myself. So when they put me back into the rice field, my health started to decline again because of the harsh working, of the heat and the exhaustion and the malnutrition. So I started to decline, but I was able to endure for 4 long years. 4 years.
Sara,
Yes,
let me
yes.
ask you at this point, how were you able to, or did you have a positive attitude that somehow, some way, someday, all of this will end? Did you have the hope that maybe you could live a normal life in Cambodia? Or did you know, or just sense all along, you would have to leave Cambodia to live a life that you wanted to live?
At that time, I realized that it's just a glimpse of hope that I think things will be better. Things will be better. I'm not suffering this way too much longer for some reason, I don't know. It's just a glimmer of hope that things will change. So just endure a little bit more. Keep enduring a little bit more, day by day. And I fix my eyes on my family. I say, one of these days, I will be back to my hometown to be with my family. So that gives me hope to move on from one day to the next day.
Was there anyone in your life, I'm supposing you were not able to communicate with your family, but even those who were captive with you, was there maybe another person that you felt you could walk beside, each of you together would share hope for the future? Anything like that?
Something similar to that. They put us, all the women, with group together with women, men in a separate shelter. So the women start to build like a sisterhood. We kind of support one another. And we pretty much help each other. Like when I lost my sight, my vision at nighttime, when I need help, because when I have typhoid, that means I need to go to the bathroom very often. And I cannot go by myself because I was blind at night. So I need help. So my woman that stay with me, I kind of tap on their shoulder and asking them to lead me to find my place to go to the bathroom. And we help each other. We are the camp inhabitants, support each other, encourage each other. That's how we keep going on.
You were 4 years, was that the total time in this captivity? And
Yes.
how did you, what was it, your personal attitude? Was it what we're learning is the fellowship of the other ladies with whom you were captive? Was it all of that you just had the hope something good is going to come from this? I can just imagine 4 years of captivity, hard labor, and the like. You may be wondering, there doesn't seem to be any way out of this. Tell our listeners, for those who may be in something similar, I'm not sure I can even think of anything positive. I'm just in such a bad situation.
I grew up as an optimist. That's in my DNA. For some reason, I was a happy child. I was a firstborn child. So as you can imagine, as the firstborn, I feel pretty much loved and secure. So it just sit with me. And now that I am in a very bad situation, that the energy that I have since my childhood, somehow it helped me to not to give up. I don't have an intention to give up. I always have hope and I will always look for something positive. So I look at my sisterhood environment like that's something positive. And sometimes at nighttime when we are so hungry, we talk about the food that we used to have. We talk about a recipe in a hushed tone. We don't want them to hear. They don't want us to remind ourselves of the previous regime, but for us, for our own entertainment, we talk about something that make us feel happy. So look for something that is enjoyable. And I always look for something to be grateful for. I just ignore something that make me sad. Like I lost everything when they forced us to evacuate. I lost everything. But if I ever thought about, oh, all my beautiful clothes, all my wonderful shoes, all this and that. If I ever thought about those things that I lost, I would not be as optimistic. So I always think about something that I have in my hand, something that I have with me. At least I'm alive. At least they did not beat me up every day. At least I have a beautiful family to look forward to be reunited with.
What mountain are you facing? Are you facing anything that may cause you distress? You might be in a point of despair, wondering, how can I overcome? How can I conquer whatever it is that you are experiencing? Sara has gone through some very despairing aspects of her life. She has overcome so much through a positive attitude. That positive attitude alone, I'm not sure is going to bring us through everything, but will certainly be the foundation on which we can look for things and persevere, endure whatever it is we're going through. I hope you'll share this podcast with others. I hope you'll share the hope with them that together we will overcome any life challenge. You have a very admirable attitude, outlook on life. You're full of gratitude. Some of our listeners who are not that way and feel that would be very difficult to have that kind of optimistic outlook based on what you have described. What was the end of the 4-year or so captivity? How did you get out of that situation? Did you have to leave Cambodia, or how did this end?
A few steps before I left Cambodia. So let me briefly tell you how I made it out. Toward the end of 4 years, they start to move the camp, move toward the jungle. They sense something is coming, something is happening. So they move all of us toward the jungle, and every 2 weeks we pack up and we move. We pack up and move. So I realized that we are heading to the jungle. And that is now the direction I want to go. My direction is go back to my village, and that's in the civilization near the national road. And this road to the jungle is now the way I want to go. Again, I was praying and find myself a courage. Maybe God give me the courage to plan an escape. And since I was so frail, my health had been declined back to almost to where it was. So I gathered 3 trusted friends. I asked them, I told them that I want to run away. Will you come with me? Because I need some help, because I'm pretty frail. And my 3 friends say, yeah, we'll go with you. So with that, I feel more secure. I feel more encouraged. So we plan an escape. Escape in the jungle, it's easy to escape, but it's also easy to get lost in the jungle because you don't know where to go. But with our determination that we will escape, we wait till nighttime when nobody can see us, and we just sneak out where, we pray that the God don't see us. If they see us, they will shoot us right away. We will get killed instantly. But God protected us. God directed our steps to not get lost in the jungle.
Sara, that is a phenomenal act of courage, that you were frail, hungry, thirsty. You didn't know where you were. You didn't know exactly how to get to the village you wanted to go. But the 3 of you together, I'm sensing, had the hope that something positive, somehow, some way, we will make it out of this situation alive. That is a situation that very few of our listeners will ever experience, but you did. And how long did it take for you to get to a place of safety, whether that was your village or wherever it was? How long was your journey to a point that you felt safe?
Well, it took us one whole night that we walked out of the jungle. And then when the sun rose, we realized that we are free and we keep walking. And eventually we saw some people and we start to ask for direction. They kind of point the direction to us to keep going that way, this way. And then finally saw some people in the village. It's a different kind of different village. It's not my village, not my hometown. They are very kind, and I need help because I got sick along the way, and we knock at somebody's door and we ask for help, and they help us. They give us food, they give us a place to stay overnight. But if we don't have a place to stay, we sleep on the ground. You know, it's not sleep on the ground all this year, 4 years. So we keep walking for a few weeks, almost a month, before I got to my hometown, barefoot.
Oh, my, barefoot. Were the Khmer Rouge dressed in black? Did you know who they were at a distance? In other words, what I'm wondering is, did you know before you ever spoke with a person whether you had reason to believe that the person with whom you want to speak could be friendly to you?
Yeah, well, the Khmer Rouge communists, they are in the jungle. At that time, when I was able to get out from their captivity, the country was already liberated. The country had been liberated for about 4 months before I came out. And that I found out later. I didn't know. If I did not escape, I would never get out. I would stay with them forever. But I realized later that the country had been liberated 4 months before I came out. So there's no more Khmer Rouge in the country, in the village. They are in the jungle.
And so how long did you remain in Cambodia? I'm assuming you left Cambodia and to free yourself totally of that environment.
Yes, after I found my family, I stayed with my family for about a year. And I realized that the country is in a big mess and it's not safe for me. And my family encouraged me to escape. So 1 year together with my family. It was heartbreaking when I left, but we had to do what we had to do.
Talk to our listeners, Sara. How is your life now? Would you, looking back and recounting your story, do you live in any aspect of fear, or can you just recount what you did and just say that was merely a life experience? I, Sara, had a positive attitude. None of the past adversely affects me now. I'm not suffering from, we call it post-traumatic syndrome or anything of that nature. Sara, did you need therapy once you left Cambodia to help adjust, to forget about the past? Or would you say to our listeners, your positive attitude over a period of time eventually helped you become the person you are today?
After I left Cambodia, crossed over to Thailand and stayed for more than a year in Thailand in transition to be sponsored to United States, did not go through any therapy or any counseling. I feel like the new life that I was given, the new life that I am in United States, it gave me enough activity, enough challenge that I'm focusing on overcoming my challenge, not on the past. So I never thought about the past, how I did not let that past to come to harm me, because I feel grateful that I survived. And that past is the experience that I went through. I look at that way, I detach myself from living in that past. So I'm focused on the new challenge that I'm facing to rebuild my new life.
Sara, that's a very valuable lesson, what you just said. To the listener who is experiencing something that they're wondering, I'm not sure I can overcome this. Marty and I sometimes refer to the mountain that we may have in front of us. We may think is too big to climb. I don't know how I can overcome anything that I am about to go through. Can you help the listener? How can they develop a positive attitude, look optimistically as you did and as you do? How can you help that person overcome whatever they're facing to say very resolutely, you can, you will make it through this? There's always something positive to think about.
Of course, thank you for that question. Yes, if you are facing a big challenge in front of you, all you can do is doing a little bit at a time, doing what you can, and look at the possibility. Look at reframe. I use the word reframe. Reframe and look at your problem from another angle, and look at the way that how can you be grateful for this? Look for something good to find a gratitude. And also look back to your life, how some of the problem that you already overcame. You overcame some small challenge, some big challenge. So I use my killing fields experience as my past success, my past victory. So when I look at that way, it gives me courage, gives me confidence, gives me strength to facing what is facing me. So this way, I'm not too stressed about it. I know it's going to be okay because I have done this before.
Sara, you are an amazing lady of resolve. You inspire many of us that there's nothing too great that we cannot overcome. When we are in the presence of people like you, when we hear of stories like yours, that inspires us to know that even though we're in the thick of whatever it is we're going through, we can, with a positive outlook, we can, with thinking into and thinking through it, devise a way to make it through or around whatever mountain we're facing that we can overcome. What a phenomenal story you have that very few people can, very few people have ever lived through what you have lived through, but you're inspiring to many of us. And on behalf of our listeners, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story. More than that, your source of hope that, yes, we can overcome anything in life.
Thank you, Ron. You wrap it up for me. I appreciate you having me to share my message with your audience. I'm always available.
Thank you, Sara, for sharing your heart, your story. You give us hope because there are very few of us who've been through what you've been through. You give us hope that we will overcome any challenge we're facing. Thank you for being that source of hope and inspiration.
Thank you, Ron. I need to mention that hope comes from God. We believe in God and He empowers us. And if we have a faith in our God, He will see us through.
Thank you, Sarah. This is our underlying message that as we have faith in our God, the God of the Bible, He will take us through and around anything we encounter.
Yes, I agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. We will be back with you.
Thank you.
Sarah has a very unique story of overcoming. Very few of us have experienced anything of what she describes, but everyone's experience of whatever we have overcome is unique. Someone needs to hear the story that you have. Everybody has a story someone needs to hear. Sarah is certainly an inspiration of hope, optimism. She overcame some life adversities that many of us would think, I don't know that I could overcome any of this. The desperation, the lack of anything good may be a deterrent to thinking through this, but Sarah inspires us to think about the positive. There's always something good in life. We believe the best is, in fact, yet to come, but we may have to look through the fog. We may have to overcome the mountains. We may have to persevere to get to that good. As we can turn to our Lord to gain the wisdom, the strength to overcome whatever we're facing, we will be able to come out on the other side having been better because of it. Sarah demonstrates the positive attitude she had toward everything. A part of her positive attitude was thinking that, things could be a lot worse, but whatever shapes your positive attitude, just know that the more positive we think, the greater life can be. As we surround ourselves with others of like mind, we can help each other overcome. We can help each other to be conquerors of any life adversity we are facing. Sarah is a very inspirational person, having described things that we, generally speaking, in the United States, never experience. But she has that attitude of overcoming, a very inspirational story. Some people need coaching to overcome some things of the past, things said to them, about them. There are things that some people have buried in the subconscious that are keeping them from performing at their God-designed potential. Marty and I are certified coaches through the John Maxwell Enterprise. We would like to schedule a 30-minute complimentary session with anyone struggling with anything of the past to help them overcome and to perform at the greatest potential as God designed us. Contact us at ron@thecooperculture.com or Marty, M-A-R-T-Y, at thecooperculture.com. Let's schedule a 30-minute complimentary session that will help you determine if either of us is the right person to help you overcome anything of the past to help you live your God-designed potential. We hope we can warrant a 5-star rating through this podcast series. We hope you will want to subscribe to this series. We hope also you'll choose to engage with us in the comment section. Contact us by way of email. The more we share, the greater benefit we will be with each other. We hope that you will share this with your Facebook friends, your LinkedIn connections, your Twitter community, whatever social media you engage in, share with them. Let's get together. Let's share insights. Let's reach out to others. Let's engage. And the more we do, the greater benefit we will be to others, the greater we will help others overcome any challenge in life, because together we will overcome anything that is keeping you from being and operating at your full potential. Let's pray to God that we have the wisdom to overcome and the empowerment we need to overcome those challenges. Let's work together. Let's share. We look forward to working with you.